Hello and welcome to Consider the Truth. My name is Scott, and my goal is to help anyone listening to apply greater truth to their lives. Today's video is about claims of revelation and miracles made by the prophet of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Russell M. Nelson. This video is important because as we go through this, it shows that the prophet and president of the church is not a nice old man trying to do good. He is either a prophet of God, as he claims to be, or he is wicked and evil and trying to deceive the world. There is no in-between. When you make a claim that you receive revelation, then it's either happening or it's not. So let's go through and see what he says. I'll start off with a story here. This was when President Nelson was, he was a doctor, and he was on a trip with other doctors. They've been practicing medicine for about 30 years, so they're all experienced. And they were in Mexico, in Guadalajara, about 100 miles from any hospital. And one of the students there, or not one of the doctors there, became very ill. He started bleeding out of his stomach. And President Nelson gave him a blessing. He says, in his words, "The Spirit dictated that he be blessed to the end that the bleeding would stop, that he would continue to live and return to his home. That blessing was administered in the name of the Lord. The next morning his condition had improved. Miraculously, the bleeding had stopped." All those doctors were around. There were like 100 doctors or something, and none of them could do anything for this man. Only the blessing of God could have saved this person. Here's some claims of revelation. He says, "I assure you that revelation continues in the church and will continue until the purposes of God shall be accomplished, and the great Jehovah shall say the work is done. Then one night last May, I was awakened by those two little girls from the other side of the veil. Though I did not see or hear them with my physical senses, I felt their presence. Spiritually, I heard their pleadings. Their message was brief and clear. 'Brother Nelson, we are not sealed to anyone. Can you help us?' This is when he received messengers that were asking him to help them do their family history work and have their parents sealed to them. Here's another story. This one is shortly after he was married to Sister Wendy Watson. They were abducted by these evil men with guns, and with a gun to President Nelson's head, they pull the trigger, and the gun fails to go off. Then they're able to miraculously escape and go free. When we convene as a council of the First Presidency and Quorum of the 12, our meeting rooms become rooms of revelation. The Spirit is palpably present. When we have reached complete accord, the unifying influence of the Holy Ghost is spine-tingling. We experience what the prophet Joseph Smith knew when he taught. One of the things the Spirit has repeatedly impressed upon my mind since my new calling as president of the church is how willing the Lord is to reveal his mind and will. I testify that the Lord instructed me to select President Dallin H. Oaks and President Henry B. Eyring to serve as my counselors in the First Presidency. In like manner, I testify that the Lord inspired the call of Elder Garrett W. Gong and Elder Ulysses Soares to be ordained as his apostles. The Lord impressed upon my mind the importance of the name he decreed for his church." This is another story of a miracle called "A Picture Came Vividly to My Mind." This was when a stake patriarch came to President Nelson when he was still a doctor, and he had two problems with his heart. And he told the stake patriarch, "We could fix this one problem, but this other valve, there is no solution for that. I can't do the surgery." And they met together regularly, and each time President Nelson told him the same thing. But then the man said this, "Dr. Nelson, I have prayed for help and have been directed to you. The Lord will not reveal to me how to repair that second valve, but he can reveal it to you. Your mind is so prepared. If you will operate upon me, The Lord will make it known to you what to do. Please perform the operation that I need and pray for the help that you need." And so President Nelson prayed with this man. They decided to go into surgery, and President Nelson's assistant says, "Well, what are we going to do about that second valve?" when they're beginning the surgery. And President Nelson said, "I do not know." They got in there, they fixed the first valve, and then President Nelson was impressed to reduce the circumference of the ring of the valve. And he started to think, well, we can't use a belt or a strap to reduce it. He was thinking through his options, and then an image came to his mind showing a tuck, a pleat, sutures, how to reduce the valve. This might have been something that, like what he saw, I just did a Google search for tricuspid valve repair, and this came up, but an image like this came into his mind. He performed the surgery, and it was a complete success. "I leave my love and blessing with you, assuring you that revelation continues in this, the Lord's church. It will continue until the purposes of God shall be accomplished, and the great Jehovah shall say, the work is done." Revelation continues to flow from the Lord during this ongoing process of restoration. This is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He stands at its head and directs all that we do. We gratefully acknowledge the inspiration from the Lord that has influenced the development of the plans and procedures that Elder Cook will present. This is when he's presenting the Ministering Visitors program. "My dear brothers and sisters, I know that God lives. Jesus is the Christ. This is his church that he directs by prophecy and revelation to his humble servants." This is the last story. President Nelson, before he was ordained into the quorum of the 12 apostles, he was the general president of the Sunday school. And he was in a meeting with President Kimball and other church authorities, and President Kimball challenged them to pray for China, serve the Chinese, learn Mandarin Chinese, do all they can to improve the work going on in China. Well, President Nelson took that charge, and he got a tutor and practiced with his wife. He learned Mandarin Chinese. Not too long after that, he was in a doctor's conference and was sitting in a chair towards the front of the room and felt uneasy, felt uncomfortable, felt like he needed to get up and move. Went towards the back of the room, and he found himself sitting next to a man. I can't remember his name. Here it is, Wu Ying Kai. And they became fast friends. And Wu Ying Kai invited President Nelson to China to lecture the different medical students there in his country. And so President Nelson went there for a month, lectured the students. He brought Wu Ying Kai to Utah to give lectures at the University of Utah, and they developed this relationship. And President Nelson kind of had this ongoing thing with China, helping the students. He would send assistants sometimes there. And before President Nelson had done any of this, there were no heart surgeries in China. They didn't know about these kinds of advances in the medicine. And eventually, there was a famous opera singer who needed a heart surgery. They called President Nelson to come. This was when he was ordained an apostle. And he ended up going out there, performing the surgery, saving the man's life, and deepening his relationship with the Chinese people. And all of this was a miracle because of him taking the counsel of a prophet to do what he was asked to do. And I don't know, probably dozens and dozens or hundreds of people have been saved from heart surgeries because of the training that they received through President Nelson. Anyway, I know that President Nelson is a prophet, and I know this because I've gone through all of his talks. I've listened to everything that he said, and as I've done so, the Spirit has borne witness to my heart a sense of peace, that the things that he say are inspired by the Lord. I believe that he is who he says he is. I do not believe that a man like this is willfully leading people astray. He is not evil. He is not wicked. And I invite anyone listening to listen to the prophet for themselves, go through all of his talks. He was made the prophet in 2018, and listen to all of his talks and think for yourself if this man is a true prophet or not. I think that if you do so, you'll have a pleasant result. Have a happy day. Thanks for joining me.